hello. It is Friday, May 24th. We got a big old 3-day weekend coming up, and what we're going to do today is I'm not really going to focus on what happened this week as much as I am going to talk about what I'm looking forward this week to, and that's really it. We did have some nice movers this week. We had the Goldman Sachs play to 155. We had the Netflix short from 240s down to 230. What else did we have? We had the Google short. Didn't go that channel from the looks of things. Everything else pretty much just chopped around to end the week. We did get a bit of a push towards the end of the day here out of this SPY, but I mean, I think it goes without saying at this point that you got to be bullish going into this week. I know a lot of people are talking like they're overly bearish, and frankly, I'm not really sure why this isn't working, but frankly, I think that is a pretty damn stupid sentiment to have. This low did hold, and it came pretty damn close to breaking, actually. There was a 4-cent differential between yesterday's low and today's low. Obviously, we bounced off that low and continued to really move higher. We did close at high. From the looks of it, after hours we're up about 20 cents, a little bit more actually, but that erased all the day's losses. If you look at it like that, we are in pretty good shape going into. I did notice though today, and I tweeted it out, was that these banks, this Goldman Sachs, this Bank of America, Citigroup, even though it did close red, these banks held up really damn well despite all the shittery that was going on. But before I get into all of this, a couple of little minor announcements that I have to make. First and foremost, we are on YouTube now, so how does that affect everything? Well, what's going to happen is instead of me sending out the Ustream URL, it's going to be the URL, so you can just follow the channel. I'm going to do videos as consistently as I'm doing them now, so nothing will really change except where you're going to see them, and you'll be able to go back and all of that. YouTube actually allows me to longer videos and more of them without me having to pay or it becoming a problem, so it's convenient for me and easier for everyone else as well. And we also have the blog now. I started it today, optionstrader.nj.blogspot.com. The URL is in my Twitter sig. Not really overly pretty right now, but in the next couple of days it's going to get a lot nicer, and it's going to be where I am every day updating my pre-market look, after-market look. I'm going to be throwing up charts and just basically another these webcasts, so it should be really good, and look forward to that. Alright, now to the brass tacks here. The most important thing and why everybody watches these damn videos is the analysis part. First and foremost, got a little bit of resistance up here towards the 166s. Just for the sake of argument, I'm not going to split hairs here. Our first real target for the week is going to be 166 on the nose. If that happens, it's going to be a pretty swift move to the half at 166.5. That breaks, you're looking at 167s and so on and so forth. I do believe that we're going to try and target this high or get pretty damn close. I think what they're going to do is bring us back up, ramp us back up real freaking big, and then probably give us an inside day right around 168.75, around there. Get everybody thinking that this 169 isn't going to break again. Close it inside slightly, a little bit of a down day. Perhaps they'll gap it down and we'll rebound and close green just to keep the trend. But they're going to trick us for a day, and then they're going to come back, rip it, bring us into like 172, so on and so forth. I did have that long bias today, and it paid out a little bit, depending on when you got in, but nothing really went big overall. Netflix for next week, I am really, really bullish on, actually. We kind of had a bottom out here. This is a really important week for Netflix as far as a longer term type deal. If we can get back over 235, which is the first target, well, actually 236.70 would be the first target. But if we can get back over that, I'm pretty confident in a move towards that 248 high. A lot of Momo in this thing lately, a lot of great moves, and we've been killing it for the last couple weeks. Fortunately, Netflix is one of the stocks that am strong with. We're pretty on top of it. It works out for us, but I'm expecting a pretty good week out of this. Seeing some signs of accumulation on this low volume lately, which I do like, and I think it's done selling. It did pull a 12-point move this week to the downside. If you want to count this high here, it's more like a 16-point move or whatever, but actually it would be a 20-point move, excuse me, but that's neither here nor there. So I am bullish this thing. I've been bullish it for a while, and I think this is an interim bottom here confirmed, and we'll see how that plays out. But if we get over 235, I think the next move you got to look for is those 245 calls, and from there you just chill and watch it go to 250 and so on. But that's just what we're looking at for now. This Amazon has been in a super freaking chop mode for actually most of this year, truth be told, and it's just gradually been going down. It's in a pretty crazy channel, so whichever side breaks out, which from right now, if I were to look at it right here today, it looks like the upside's going to break out and we're going to get a blow off top or something like that. But I will say what I'm looking for is a slightly down start to the week. I want to see it test that 258.50 whatever low that it's got, or 258.34. From there, that holds, and by holds I mean like holds. I would get bullish. I know a lot of this stuff is projecting more downside, and unfortunately that's just one of the down, is that just and whatever it tells it, it does, and so on and so forth. But I don't really think it's got much more downside here. We did get the move to the 260s. I thought it might have gone lower, but it held up really nicely, which is why I'm kind of bullish on it right now. From the looks of it, we have a little gap here, which I would look to fill early in the week. If that fills, then we have the potential to break out of this trend here. When I go to throw the charts up on the blog, I'll draw out the trend lines and everything in different views, so you can get a real good look at that. LinkedIn is another one, really. Did have a down day today, but it's been holding this crazy support line and bouncing and this, that, and the other. What's the low here? 80. Alright, so it did establish new lows, which isn't exactly good. Kind of puts us in a general downtrend here. Although true lows, if it could break this 65, then it's really screwed. But again, this is another one kind of like that Amazon. I expect it to test this low here from today. If that falls, then the next low would be from Thursday. If that falls, then you just got to assume that it's going down to 65. Personally, I don't think that's the case. I think it gives us a little bit of an early chop on Monday, tests those lows. I'm expecting the market to rip, so I expect LinkedIn and some of these tech names to go with it. So my move would be, depending on the action in the morning, I'd probably pick up the 180 calls. Just real quickly, going to take a look at those. These 180s are currently priced in at $1, just about. You could probably get them around 80 some odd cents on Monday. If you pick them up on a dip, you're probably looking at cheaper. If it does break, though, I would hold off and probably look to go short it. But we'll see what happens in the morning. This Google has fallen 50 points in a week, I think. Yeah, a week it fell 50 points. That's absolutely awesome. I'm sure that paid out rather. It's now saying it's in a downtrend based on the LBR paint bars, but I'm expecting it to just start ripping with this market. I know it did get news the other day. Apparently there's some sort of lawsuit. I'm not sure if that's true or not. That's just what I've heard from my friends, my buddies, over at the Saying Lucci chat room. If that's the case, I expect it to just out for a couple days until they figure out what they're going to do with it. Max pain would probably be right around 267. If that breaks, then they'll flush it, but I don't expect them to do that. It's in an arms race right now with this price line to get over 1,000, but we'll see where that ends up. This Apple is honestly probably going to be the death of me if I had to take a guess. Me and this Apple have had some battles over the last couple days. I was playing those 450s today. I had the fill at 10, couldn't get it. Had the fill at 20, couldn't get it. Ended up getting filled at 40, got out at 35. So I lost a little bit. It wasn't anything crazy, but just sucks taking losers in general. I really want to say that I want to fade this, but for some reason I just feel like they're going to run it up on Monday, and that's it. Like, they're just going to screw me over. So, that's probably what's going to happen realistically. So I'm going to keep this on watch for now. I want to see what happens early on Monday, or Tuesday morning, excuse me, because we'll get that premium decay, and I'll be able to figure it out from there. If that's the case, though, and they are going to run it this week, if it's an early week run, I'm probably going to play the 465s, just 20 points out of the money. But this thing's been suppressed for so long. I mean, just look at it. It's got such a uptrend tint to it that if they are going to blow it open, it's going to pull like a 30 week, hopefully. But that's that. God, I'm so tech heavy. This price line I feel like got news too or something. Or maybe this was just market related. It did bounce off the Keltner channel, which is very, very bullish for me. So if this market does climb back up like we're expecting it to, I kind of just expect this to go right up with it. First target would be this 820 here, which for those of you who play this know that a 20-point move is absolutely nothing for this thing. Nothing at all. But that's what I'm hoping for. Baidu, I'm seeing accumulation from today, which is good. The first target would be this 100. Again, not sure, did it get there? It did. It did break 100 like we had called it to do. This was actually a pretty big day on Monday. So I would look to see this bounce back, break 100. The trend is very bullish overall. It does have this gap to 106, so that would be the second target. From there would be probably whatever the high is up here, like 112 or whatever. But this thing doesn't pull moves like that in a week, unfortunately. So it's not really something to worry about right now. This IBM kind of fell off on relative strength today, actually, which is kind of abnormal. I'd look for it. It didn't quite bounce off this line, this Keltner channel here, from what I can see. Yeah, so I would look for it to bounce off that. If that breaks, then you can just assume a move towards 200 is coming. If not, then it'll get back towards 210 and try and get back towards these highs. But it's had some crazy action since this earnings call. Kind of screwed a lot of people, which is fine as long as it doesn't hurt me. Lulu, I feel like Lululemon hasn't done anything in an extended period of time, which is pretty disheartening for anyone really playing it. But it did break below it, this Keltner channel, then rejected the lows, came back up, kind of sat on it today. So I would expect to see it dip below. If it gets a seller and continues to go through it, then we might be in some trouble there and would be sub 75. Realistically, though, I think we're looking at a test of highs if it just goes with this market. It does like to pull these crazy reversals, but it really all depends on if it wants to play along or not. If it doesn't play along on Monday and we continue bullish on Tuesday, it'd probably be a nice little play to go long with the 80, so get some premium decay on. Wow, if it doesn't follow along on Tuesday, Wednesday would be a nice day. You're going to get some premium decay from the 3-day weekend, and then Tuesday, so it'll be nice and cheap. I'm sorry, I can't wrap my brain around this 3-day weekend, really, unfortunately. And now we get to the banks, and this is kind of my little secret treasure here, is why haven't I been talking about the banks yet? I've skipped over Goldman Sachs, I skipped over Visa, and that's really it. All the banks I have are kind of at the bottom of my list here. But this Goldman Sachs, everything from here on down looks like a short. But the only thing that really matters is this and this. And we are still very much bullish up here. And we are still very much bullish up here, which is the best part of all. We rejected those lows in parity with the SPY today. I talked about those 160 calls for today's expiration earlier. They were a very nice play. We watched them at, what was it? 4 cents, 3 cents. Keeker saw them at 3 cents. I saw them at 4. And they hit a high of, it wasn't 15. I think it was like, actually it might have been. I guess it was. Alright, they hit like a high of 15, whatever. Or, no, I think it was 10 or 12, but it doesn't matter. They were a decent play. You couldn't really get any size into them because it is Friday. People are scared about that stuff, which sucks. But it held up really, really well today. There were times where I thought the SPY was going to fall off, and this Goldman looked super strong. And what I've been noticing the past couple weeks is that this Goldman's really been leading the charge for the market. When Goldman's looking weak, SPY kind of falters a little bit, but then when the SPY is ripping and Goldman's looking pretty weak, like this day right here, just freaking pulls these massive 3-4 point days, and it's just craziness. So what I'm hoping for is Tuesday, this Goldman chills out, and just rips all week. What I'm going to be looking to do is I'm going to be looking to grab either these Goldman 160s or 165s, which hopefully will open up sub a dime, and I'm just going to pump everything I have into it. Or, well, ideally my target would be first 160, obviously, and then 165 to break that high. But my other thought process, or play rather, is this Visa, and I like this Visa chart a little bit more than I like the Goldman Sachs chart, only because I'm seeing signs of a confirmed reversal. Although this Visa did break lows, which is kind of troubling for me right now. I don't really like to see that. But my target for the Visa would be 185, and these 185s, which is only a 5-point move, which Visa can make a freaking 15-point move in a week. They're supposed to open up sub 20, which would be a sick play. What I think I'm probably looking at realistically is this Visa will likely try and retest these lows on Tuesday. Obviously, I expect the market to rip, therefore I expect this Visa to hold those lows, and the lows are... Actually, bump that. There's no way Visa's going to test these lows again. Alright, well, regardless, if it does test the lows, great, I get those contracts even cheaper. If it doesn't test the lows, so be it. They're still supposed to open. Target for that would break of high. If that happens, then realistically, I'm probably looking at... Well, that's just great. Thanks, guys. If that breaks, I'm realistically looking at a probably a 10-point week. Excuse me. So that's just something to keep in mind. This Citigroup, all these banks are kind of just crappy looking right now, but if you look at the actual chart itself, like this thing didn't even test lows today, like at all. That's kind of what I'm hoping out of Visa, a little dip and then just rip faces all day. So this thing, this Citigroup would probably, almost without a doubt, probably by Wednesday or Thursday, you can expect this to have a test of high if this market continues to go higher. This Bank of America, yesterday, I'm pretty sure it lost 13. Yeah, it did. It broke 13, and today it's freaking back to 13.24. Like, that's just ridiculous to me. This MasterCard's just crazy. I don't even bother watching it, really. And this JP Morgan... JP Morgan tested lows, 6-cent deviation, broke low, or held the lows, so that's very bullish. It's only really a 1.5 off that high, which is another real bullish thing. Only problem with something like JPM, it doesn't pull huge volatile moves. The most you'll probably see is like a 1-point day. You'll maybe get a crazy 2-point day if the SPY's just ripping, but very rarely will you see that. AIG is another one that's probably going to give us a pretty big bounce back towards that high there. Actually, what I'm going to do... Ooh, these 46s look tempting too, especially if they open up at sub 10 cents. That's pretty cool, actually, because my target would be a break of that high. Interesting. That's something I'm going to have to keep in mind. If it does break that high, it's probably going to 48, 49. Expedia. I'm not really sure why I have this on my watch list. This thing's in a huge downtrend for the past couple months. It does look like it wants to try and break out of this trend here. So, if that's going to happen, it's got to break this 61.53 or around there. That's just something to keep in mind. Longer term, if that happens, then you're probably looking at 64, 65 for the week, because it'll catch some volatility. People will see that as a breakout. Idiots. But that's that. And then these solars are just freaking... I don't even know how to describe this. Well, this is Tesla, but Tesla's going higher. Tesla will probably break 100 this week coming up. You got these solars that are just crazy right now. There's really no direct correlation with these solars. I mean, you could almost literally just randomly buy the dip and with these things. But I'm not really going to do anything crazy with them, to be honest. They're not really worth my time. I will say this SCTY, if you want to bet that it's going to break that high, that's probably a pretty damn good bet. It's only a 3-4 point move from where it is now. This thing's pulling like 7-8 points a day lately, it seems like. But that's just my initial thought. And the last thing I want to talk about is this LVS. LVS wants to go down more, but it held that low, so most likely you can expect a test of this low again from today. From there, I would like to see 59 and then a break of that high. So that's really it. That's all I got for today. I will say what happened this week towards the tail end of the week as far as the market was a direct strike to the Fed. Basically, it was the market's way of telling the Fed that they cannot take the money out of the market. They can't stop the quantitative easing. This entire run is basically quantitative easing based, unfortunately, but that is the reality of what's going on. And when they do finally pull the money out of the market, we're probably looking at a huge short play. I think we got a lot of people to take out their money this week. I think we got a lot of people to put in money this week. So I think the rotation is still in effect, and in reality, what we're going to see is just these institutions selling, the retail holding, and then the institutions coming back and buying into the retail and pushing everything higher, and it's just going to rinse and repeat. But that's what we've been seeing for the last couple weeks, so there's no real reason to think that's going to change. Alright, I will see you guys on Tuesday. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and stay safe.